Watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, tell you how the Caney Valley School District is adapting to the city's water shortage.
Plus, survivors of domestic violence in Miami, Oklahoma turn out for a night of support.
And we've had some drizzle around the Joplin-Pittsburgh areas out there, and we've got scattered showers, storms, and a big cold front coming through. We'll talk about that in that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 o'clock on this finally Friday in the 4 states. And
yes.
I don't know if anybody else noticed, but it kind of made me chuckle. Sometimes there's a little bit of a connection issue with the MoDOT cameras, and the light there, it was yellow, turned red, went back to yellow, and right back to red. Can you imagine if that really did that? That would crack. There was a traffic light, though, once in Carthage at Francis Street.
Yeah.
We were driving through town, and it was all 4 of them were green, yellow, and red at the same time. There was a crew out there working on it, and they had the 4-way stop sign up, but I'd never seen that before. And I said, wow, they're actually really pretty when they're lit up like that. It could be problematic.
Yes.
So.
All right. Well, there's some problems actually happening right here locally.
Yes,
Caney
there are.
Valley School District in Kansas is adapting to Caney's ongoing water shortage.
KOAM's Amber Jenkins talked with the superintendent about closing school on certain days while still meeting the requirement of school days for the year.
The determination was made. It's a variety of days. The majority are all Monday. We do have a couple of Fridays. Those butt up to our Thanksgiving and Christmas break where we'll be off. But essentially what we've done is by eliminating those days, we know that we can reduce any consumption of water during those days.
So far, most of the water conserving efforts have been on the district's wallet through purchasing portable trailer restrooms and passing out bottled water. However, truckloads of donations made the bills a little lighter.
In times when we have to, yes, that does come off of our end, but thankfully today was a very big day for our community. So Walmart stepped up and donated 3 semi-trucks full, so I believe it was over 60 pallets of water. And then we also received a donation as well from from Hope as well.
Heavy rainfall will not fix the issues with the reservoir. Caney has been in a drought for more than a year, so heavy rain can lead to flash flooding. However, the drought could lighten up with time.
As long as we just get moderate rain, we don't have to worry about flooding. But the good news here is the pattern that we just started. So as we go through the rest of the fall into the winter, we're going to put a big dent into that drought. So I think Montgomery County by next spring and summer is going to be in a much better situation.
Reporting in Caney, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Caney Valley School District also replaced showers and locker rooms with foam spray that acts as a skin cleaner.
So certainly having to make a lot of changes in Caney,
Yes.
but as Doug mentioned, drought situation is expected to improve by next year, but boy, it's still a long ways away for us. We are still getting some showers and thunderstorms out there. The Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us where that cold front is, but take a look. Right now, Chautauqua County, about the only place with a reasonable looking thunder shower out there. The rest of it's just some scattered, isolated showers. The cold front not really setting much off. It might trigger a few more scattered showers and storms out there, but not much expected out of it. And for sure, no severe weather expected out of this whatsoever, but it is bringing considerably colder temperatures to the area. Right now, Joplin-Pittsburgh been going through a pretty heavy drizzle out there. It's not picked up by radar, not in the slightest, but a very heavy drizzle has been falling, so watch out for that because it is reducing visibilities a bit. 69 Joplin and Pittsburgh. And as we get our day started, as we go through our day, that cold front dropping those temperatures, dropping them big time. They're going to drop it like it's cold. Scattered showers and storms, that front rolls through, done with us by about noon, and temperatures falling behind it, mostly cloudy skies, and we're down to the upper 40s by late evening. Some of us out west even colder than that. We'll take a look at your full forecast and tell you just how much colder it's going to get here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. A fatal crash takes the life of a Neotazi, Kansas woman. The crash occurred Wednesday just east of K99. A Chevy Impala and a Kia Soul were traveling eastbound on US 166 when the Impala crossed the center line and struck a westbound Dodge Charger. The Charger lost control and the Kia Soul struck the Charger. Pamela Long, the driver of the Kia Soul, was killed in the crash. Next of kin have been notified. And in Bourbon County, a two-vehicle crash takes the life of a Milan, Missouri man. This happened Wednesday night on US 54. A westbound Toyota RAV4 failed to yield to a Jeep Wrangler traveling east while making a left turn and struck a Wrangler. The occupant of the Wrangler, Nathaniel Moorhead, was killed in the crash. And take a look at what a Miami Police Department drone showed during a manhunt in Ottawa County, Oklahoma. Authorities were looking for Richard Foley, who was wanted on numerous warrants. The thermal image feature on the drone showed Foley hiding in tall grass, where he couldn't be spotted at ground level. The police drone operator directed officers to the location. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, Quapaw Marshals, BIA, and Miami Police Department were all involved in that search. And authorities caught Foley and booked him on a long list of crimes involving burglary, a bogus check, and various driving offenses. Authorities have identified skeletal remains found near Humboldt back in March. Dennis Lushbaugh from Awula, Kansas, disappeared more than 6 years ago. His disappearance sparked extensive searches across southern Allen County. Sheriff Brian Murphy confirms the skeletal remains belong to Lushbaugh. His family has been notified. The cause of death is ruled undetermined, but the sheriff does not suspect any foul play in his death. Up next, why a study released by the FDA found that flu and COVID-19 vaccines may slightly increase the risk of stroke in seniors. And later, black cats have long been considered a bad omen in Western culture, and studies show those negative stereotypes sometimes make it harder for them to get adopted. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. In Health Watch this morning, a study released by the FDA found that flu and COVID-19 vaccines may slightly increase the risk of stroke in seniors caused by blood clots in the brain. In particular, when the two shots were administered at the same time, the FDA researchers analyzed data from Medicare claims and found that the increase happened in adults who are 85 and up. This is the second study to find that COVID-19 and flu shots given together put seniors at a higher risk for stroke. There are 3 cases for every 100,000 doses given. The high-dose flu vaccine, which is designed to rev up the immune system, was found to be the culprit in these results. For those who are concerned, researchers suggest receiving the shots at different times. And the number of abortions increased in the U.S. over the last year. A new report from the Society of Family Planning found that there are about 2,200 more abortions over the course of the year since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. But the decision heavily impacted where those abortions were performed. There were about 115,000 fewer abortions in the 17 states with total or 6-week bans in effect. That contrasts to the 33 states where abortion is still legal, recording nearly 117,000 more abortions. Experts say much of the increase came from patients who traveled from states with bans or restrictions. The new report didn't capture how widespread travel for an abortion has become. Every 40 seconds in the U.S., someone has a stroke, but health experts say many people can avoid having one by living a healthy lifestyle. Mandy Gaither has 9 simple steps to help prevent a stroke.
It's a leading cause of death and serious long-term disability in the U.S.
Stroke is actually much more common than we think.
Every 3 minutes and 14 seconds, someone dies of stroke in the U.S. according to the CDC. But addressing 9 risk factors can help prevent most strokes. It starts with keeping blood pressure in check. A healthy lifestyle and limiting salt intake to less than 2 grams per day can help. Diabetes is another risk factor. Control it with glucose-lowering medications, says Dr. Sidoni Abrikji, a neurologist at Cleveland Clinic.
What we like to target in diabetic patients is a hemoglobin A1C of around 7%.
Next, Abrikji says to control high cholesterol by taking statins or other medications. Fourth, be aware of atrial fibrillation, a risk factor for stroke that causes an irregular heartbeat.
They have to be on a strong blood thinner known as anticoagulation.
Getting sleep apnea treated is also key. Those suffering from the condition stop breathing for short periods during the night.
The main ways to prevent sleep apnea are weight loss, but also using a CPAP machine if it's moderate to severe.
Cut out smoking and limit alcohol intake to 1 drink or less a day. Both are major risk factors for stroke, as is what you eat. Abrigshi recommends a diet rich in fruits and veggies, nuts, and lean protein. And finally, get your heart rate up at least 4 times a week for 20 to 30 minutes a day. For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
The American Stroke Association says many people also don't know the warning signs that signal stroke. These include drooping of the face, arm weakness, and slurred speech. If anyone is experiencing any of these signs, call 911 immediately.
Well, that cold front continuing to roll through the area. I've had some scattered showers and storms along it. They started to fizzle out, but we're starting to get a little bit more activity. We got a decent rain shower out in Chautauqua County, just to the east of Sedan, and we're starting to see some more activity begin to pop up across parts of Missouri and into southeastern Kansas as this continues again to roll off to the south and east. The one thing it's bringing for sure, much colder temperatures. We'll have another look at your forecast here in a few more minutes, and when we come back, Freeman Health debuting a pair of mass casualty communication trailers. We'll tell you what they're all about. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:15, almost 7:16 on this finally Friday in the 4 states. This little line of showers here is a cold front, and it is a very powerful cold front. It is, as it is bringing much colder temperatures back behind it. So far, one of the heavier showers we had, which you can see now starting to let up a bit, was in Chautauqua County down to the north and east of Sedan. But we've also started to see a few other spotty showers here and there across the region from Missouri back into southeast Kansas, and now even around the Pittsburgh area, a few spotty showers out there. Regardless of how much rain we see out of this, we are going to see considerably colder temperatures as it continues to push off to the south and east. We've had a fairly heavy drizzle in Joplin. Our camera on top of the Cornell complex downtown. You can see the shiny reflective lights down there. Well, that's because the roads and parking lots are wet. Same from the MoDOT camera 32nd and range line. And in Neosho, so far, you've managed to luck out on not getting the drizzle. Dry roads from the MoDOT camera down there at 60 and 59. And you may not be able to tell, but 69 a little on the wet side. We've had some of that light drizzle up around Pittsburgh this morning as well, and we'll take a look. Our little light, it's a little harder to tell, but it does look like the drizzle's kind of stopped out there. But 69, cloudy skies, south breeze at 8 miles an hour. This is the cold front. This is considerably colder temperatures. This is some of us enjoying the last couple of hours of warm weather around the area. So Yates Center, we've been talking about you all morning. You had temperature this morning, say about 5:30 of 69. That's your high. Those cold temperatures right on your back door, and your temperatures will continue to fall. Sedan, Neodesha, Chanute, Iola, these are going to be your high temperatures because that cold front is sinking in right behind that. Independence, Parsons, Fort Scott, and points southeast, probably going to go a couple of degrees warmer, but not by much because it is going to go ahead and sweep on through. But some of us, believe it or not, will actually make the low 70s before it gets darn cold out there. So here's the transition we're talking about. Here's noon. Here's the front. Few showers. 66 Pittsburgh. You go back to the northwest, 46 Chanute, Yates Center, Fredonia. That is the difference that we're going to see. So we're going to be mostly cloudy for most of us. Here's the other issue we're going to run into. See, there's some clearing that takes place over parts of southeast Kansas later this afternoon. Because of that, you're going to lose some of the warmer weather you picked up earlier. So you're going to be a little colder tonight out to the northwest, falling back in the mid-upper 30s. The rest of us, with that thermal blanket from the clouds, will kind of level off in the mid-40s. Then we go into our Saturday. We go 9, 10 a.m., more showers and thunderstorms out there. These will be widely scattered throughout the day. And take a look at these temperatures, 40s, 50s. There's going to be a cold rain, a cold thunderstorm out there. And then Sunday gets even worse. If you hate cold weather, it gets even better if you like it. We're going to hit a high in the mid-40s at about 2 a.m. And temperatures are going to fall through the day on Sunday with more showers and thunderstorms scattered across the area. Now, despite the cold weather, we're not anticipating any wintry precipitation, but nonetheless, a cold rain for sure out there. Temperatures continue to fall, 40s for us as we head into Halloween. Overnight lows in the 20s, so make sure you bundle up for Halloween or maybe find some warm place inside. Well, black cats have long been considered a bad omen in Western culture, and studies show those negative stereotypes sometimes makes it harder for them to get adopted. And now shelters across the country are using today, which is National Black Cat Day, to dispel myths and encourage adoptions. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call reports.
All right, so I'm going to introduce you to Calculator here.
When Mimi Cordero walked into this adoption shelter, she wasn't looking for a black cat.
They always tell me, well, a black cat is not a good cat. So on my life, I'm like, okay, stay away from black cats.
It's a stereotype Chris Wilson, matchmaker at the ASPCA, has heard before.
Movies, the TV shows, black cats have been linked to that kind of superstition for a long time.
The stigma, animal science professor Kimberly Ainge Van Houten says, dates back to when cats were first domesticated by Egyptians.
You had this cat that was worshipped by some, but seen as a pagan god by others, and that throughout a lot of Europe gave the cat, any cat, kind of a bad reputation.
Even thousands of years later, the swirling stereotype has made it harder for them to get adopted.
The color black has been associated with death, sadness, all kinds of negative things.
But the ASPCA says National Black Cat Day, in the lead up to Halloween, is an opportunity to dispel those myths.
What are they actually like? What are their characteristics?
Super friendly, super sweet. They're like any other cat.
Hoping education and some cuddles.
She seems to really like you.
Helps cats like Calculator find forever homes.
Do you think you found your kit?
Maybe. But seeing this cat changed everything.
Chanel Call, CBS News, New York.
Now, the ASPCA says adoption numbers for black cats typically spike around National Black Cat Day in the lead up to Halloween. Well, coming up, Pittsburgh attorneys lending a helping hand during Pro Bono Week.
Morning show on Fox 14. We have Shelby Underwood and Lexi Yarnell here from Northeast High School, and they're going to tell us all about their spook house they have coming up. Welcome, ladies. And I see you brought a guest as well. So tell us, what is the spook house that you guys put on?
The spook house is a fundraiser for our senior class to go on our senior trip at the end of the year.
I love it. And obviously, it's spook house, haunted house. You have some creepy characters, it looks like. What can we expect?
Our spook house is based off movies, so there's different rooms throughout it, and so they're all based off different scary movies and everything. So.
I love that. Okay, and so now certain haunted houses are pretty scary. This guy, he's up there on that level. So what is the age range that you would recommend?
Anyone can come. If you don't want to be scared, you can go through with a little light, and that'll signal that you don't want to be scared.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of jumping out. So walk us through. What will the whole experience be like?
So you walk in and you have your first room. I don't know if I can tell what the rooms are, but we'll keep it a secret. Yeah. So you have your first room, then you'll go through like a little hallway, and then your second one, and then another hallway, and then your other one. And then there's 7 rooms combined, and so you're just basically going room to room. You'll have someone guiding you also to show you where you're going. Mm-hmm. And so there's just a bunch of rooms and hallways.
I love that. And when is this all taking place?
Friday tonight from 6 to 9, Saturday tomorrow 6 to 9, and then next Monday and Tuesday 6 to 9.
I love it. And how much are tickets?
$5.
$5. That's a good deal. And tell us, this is a fundraiser. Where does this money go towards?
It goes towards our senior class, and we're trying to go on a trip at the very end of the year, and we have a few places, but it's going to be really exciting for our kids.
Oh yeah, so it's a great cause. Go have fun, celebrate Halloween, get your spook on, but also help some of these kids on a much deserved class trip after you graduate. Excellent. And so who are the kids that are acting? Are these kids in the drama club or other seniors?
They're just other seniors in our class.
I love it. Yeah. And so did a lot of people turn out to get involved with this?
Yeah. We also have a trunk or treat.
Oh, wonderful.
As well during this time.
Okay, that's perfect.
Just Tuesday.
That's just Tuesday.
Sorry.
Excellent. Well, as you can see, it's going to be a good time. These kids take it seriously. Make sure you check out Northeast High School's Spook House happening pretty much all weekend, and then Monday and Tuesday as well, help donate to a great cause for these kids' senior trip. We'll be right back with more news after this.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:29 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Miami, Oklahoma residents gathered this evening showing support for victims of domestic violence. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has the story.
Domestic abuse and the victims it affects are all around us. However, the Wyandotte Nation Domestic Violence Program brought community members together to honor those who fall victim to domestic violence.
Domestic violence isn't selective. And it doesn't just happen to weak people. It doesn't just happen to people that are addicted. It doesn't just happen to people that are lower economic class. It can happen to anybody.
Lisa Arnold is not only a domestic violence survivor, but also the one who led the charge to put this event together.
My heart is very involved in the job that I do. You know, I started doing this position 6 years ago, and it's not a job for me. It's part of who I am.
Demonstrating strength and leadership to those who rallied to show support.
I think one of the most common questions that people ask me is like, why didn't you leave? Why would you stay after being hurt like that and being treated like that? There are so many reasons, and as I stand here before you today, none of them feel good enough anymore.
Although the event carried the weight of a very heavy topic, the night was filled with love and support from community members and organizations, all of which longing to bring an end to domestic violence. Reporting in Miami, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Those who attended were also able to get food and were entered to win prizes.
Now, we've had some heavy drizzle in parts of the area, Joplin, Pittsburgh namely. We've got some wet roadways out there from that. Doesn't show up on radar, but we definitely saw it out there. And of course, the roads definitely wet from that. Our cold front's still right about here now. Scattered showers, a couple of thunderstorms trying to get going on this thing, but it's really just having a hard time triggering much of anything. But now we're starting to get some development out ahead of it, even out. Look at this, the northeast of Monette towards Springfield, seeing some development out ahead of this thing. Regardless, it is bringing all of us much colder temperatures. So there's those wet roadways in Joplin. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. It does seem as though the drizzle has let up a bit, and this cold front dropping our temperatures. Our highs, we're hitting most of them right about now, and a lot of us are going to start to get chilly. We're going to start to fall back through the 50s and eventually into the upper 40s as we head later into the evening. We're going to be pretty cloudy through today as well. We'll take another full look at your forecast, talk about how cold it's going to get here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, it's National Pro Bono Celebration Week. Locally, the Pittsburgh office of the Kansas Legal Services helps low-income Kansans by providing legal and mediation services. Between 2020 and 2022, they've served more than 1,600 clients, 70% of them being women.
I just had a contested divorce case for a client, and if I were to bill my time at what my hourly rate would be in private practice, the attorney's fees would have been probably $25,000 or $30,000. They ended up paying us nothing.
KLS attorneys assist people who live in households with annual incomes at or below 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. Clients include the working poor, veterans, homeowners and renters, families with children, farmers, people with disabilities, and the elderly. The city of Joplin yesterday held a public meeting to discuss the next steps on the project to widen Connecticut Avenue. Construction on the final phase is set to begin soon. It'll focus on the area from 32nd Street to the I-44 bridge. The project will widen the street to 5 lanes with a curb and a gutter. It'll also have a 10-foot wide sidewalk and bike trail on the west side with a 6-foot wide sidewalk on the east side.
People will see it first is some tree removal on the east side of Connecticut. There is also some very important stormwater improvements. Part of this project is, in fact, it's 2 projects. It's a drainage project to improve the overall drainage of the area, and it's a street widening project, so it's a combined project.
The project is funded through a capital improvement sales tax approved by voters in 2014. Oh dear, things got quite wild after school at McKinley Elementary yesterday. At about 3 p.m. Thursday, a deer ran into McKinley Elementary School and then into the library. Kids were going to the buses as normal, and witnesses say before you know it, there was a deer in the library. The doors to the library were secured, so the deer was in the library alone. Joplin Animal Control were summoned to come remove the deer, and on scene, spectators could observe the deer jumping on the windows that face the atrium. It was jumping at the window continually for a few minutes, tearing down the blinds in the process. The windows, however, did not break, and minutes later, someone opened the library door and the door ran back outside. No one was injured. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, we have Shannon Becker joining us in studio to talk about his big 3 stories of the week.
And we've been talking about that drizzle across the area. We've got showers and a couple of thunderstorms rolling through and much colder temperatures behind this powerful cold front. We'll talk about that in your full forecast a little later.
We've got Shannon Becker in studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Shannon, good morning and thank you for joining us.
No problem. It's because you pay me the dough.
Oh.
You get it? The big dough.
Oh, I can't wait to hear all about that one.
Oh, I've been working for the last hour on it. Big 3 stories of the week this week. KOAM News Now, Joplin News First. Burlington opens today. Now, the family and friends have been able to shop the last 2 days, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot more
Look at that.
for the public today. They're opening 19 stores across the country. Joplin is one of those 19. It's a move as Burlington bought Bed Bath & Beyond. They bought their bankruptcy leases to their store so they could open this one in less than 90 days. They say open until midnight. Can you believe that?
Insane.
That's later, that's later than Walmart.
So if you need those last minute outfits or something.
Hey, but people have different schedules. I like going to, Ross is open until midnight or 11.
Yes.
I'll be there.
It's perfect.
Burlington, 409 Geneva, they opened at 9 this morning. Our number 2 story. Oh, if I only had a buck for every time I laughed at this. This is a deer yesterday. The Joplin Animal Control were called to McKinley Elementary School because a deer had ran in the door as the kids were going out to the bus. The deer ran through this door, just about 20 feet across the hall is the library. The staff shut the door quickly and the deer wanted to get out badly. Didn't break the window, tore some stuff up, you know. Of course, the blinds are a loss. A lot of cleanup there, I would assume, with some deer fur. Nah, you know how that's done. I don't know. So they've got some dander to clean up. There you go. The deer was checking out the hunting section, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe travel. Maybe the deer was looking at the travel section. Not sure. The deer was not injured. Apparently, it didn't seem injured as it ran off into the neighborhood, which is a very populous neighborhood right off of 7th Street.
That's the funniest story.
Yeah,
and you
so
caught
bizarre.
it so well.
I know, I couldn't believe it. I only had 18 seconds of footage.
So good.
I was like, oh my gosh. So when I saw it, I put my camera up against the glass to hold it still. And I'm shocked. I'm just totally shocked. I'm sure I win a Pulitzer or something like that if there are awards for that. Our number 1 story. KOAM News Now, Joplin News First. Another animal coming at me there. That was one of 42 heifers that were on a cattle hauler that actually collided with another tractor trailer. There were, you know, of course, some of them died. You know, a lot of people were like, did they die? Well, we don't show the dead animals, but yes, of course, there were some, what they call J4. That's the word for death if you're out and about. That's kind of a technical term, but anyway, it hit the back end of this tractor trailer, which was carrying beauty supplies. Most likely hair color is what I noticed most of. It took about 7 hours to get that all cleaned up. There were cowboys on the interstate. Traffic was backed up about 5 miles.
Literally wrangling them up. I mean, this is a scene out of Yellowstone.
Seriously, 5-mile backup.
Oh, goodness.
It lasted a long time.
Oh my God!
It's something I've never seen before.
This is the wildest story.
One of the officers, in fact, said, "I haven't seen anything like this." There was like an 11-car pileup years ago where some people actually were killed in the fog. So it was quite a snarl of traffic.
That's a big animal there.
Yes, poor little heifer. And our bonus story of the week. Happy Halloween, everybody. We continue our tradition of the drive-by light list. It's very family friendly. Get the kids in the car seat, drive by and see all the displays. We got here in Galena, got Google Map links that take you to every location, like right from where you are. You just have to click on it and click your location. Baxter Springs this year is on Annie Baxter. They always do a great thing every year. Some of them will blow up, so if it's bad weather, they won't have everything blown up because it could be destroyed. Southern Hills, that's a new display we have not been able to feature before, but I went out there the other night. It's really neat. I thought they did a great job.
These are incredible, and you found all the best ones throughout the area,
yeah,
so
I mean,
props to you.
We've got some favorites that we've had over the years, so we always keep with it. So check it out on our website, the KOAM News Now, Joplin News First Halloween light list.
I love that.
And we'll do it again at Christmas.
Ooh, I can't wait.
No Thanksgiving lights, though.
All right. Well, Shannon, as always, thank you so much. Great reporting, great stories.
You're such a dear.
We'll be right back with more news after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:44 now on this finally Friday. Our cold front right through here. Scattered showers and even a couple of thunderstorms trying to develop. This little guy down now right on Caney, they need that rain, and it picked back up and is delivering some fairly heavy rain down to the Caney area. Elsewhere, just spotty showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder out there, but not a lot to write home about. The thing that it is bringing back behind it is significantly colder temperatures. Cloudy skies, some drizzle from our camera at the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Still some drizzle, wet roadways, MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line. And you can see there at least some wet roadways down in Neosho from the MoDOT camera there. And still wet roadways, light drizzle over in Pittsburgh, KDOT camera on 69. We actually, believe it or not, there's some clearing skies out there. It won't last long, but there's some. 69 in, I don't know why I moved to this side, but that's all right. South breeze at 8. Here's that cold front. There's those colder temperatures out there. So we look around the area, look at Yates Center. Remember what I told you guys earlier in Yates Center? Your temperature about 5:30 of 69, that was your high. Wasn't making that up. You're now down to 54, 52 in Iola. So Sedan, Neodesha, Chanute, Fort Scott, you're probably about at your high temperature for the day. Others, though, we got some 71s on the board, trying to warm up, and some of us might even go 72, 73 today before that cold front rolls through. By about noon, it's pushing on through. Temperatures cooling back behind it. Look out to the west as we're into the 40s. We'll have more showers and thunderstorms as we head into our Saturday, and it's going to be chilly. So by about 9, 10 a.m., here they come. Widely scattered showers and storms, and it's going to be a cold rain out there for sure across the area. And this will continue into Sunday. In fact, Sunday, we're going to hit highs about 46 at about 2 a.m., and then the temperatures are going to fall through the day. But the good news is we're not anticipating any wintry weather with the activity Sunday, just a very cold rain. That's a very quick check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with a very quick check of Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, more Americans than ever are celebrating Halloween this year and spending a record-breaking amount of money on the spooky holiday. Cole Higgins has 5 tips to celebrate without scaring your budget.
A spooky and pricey holiday. Total Halloween spending is expected to reach a record $12.2 billion this 2023. That's according to an annual survey from the National Retail Federation. But experts say you can still have a fun All Hallows Eve without overspending.
Well, you definitely want to be the house with the good candy, right?
Jessica Allen from Living Well Spending Less has 5 tips to help you save money. The first step is to make a budget and stick to it.
It doesn't take a lot of time to do this, 10, 15 minutes.
According to the NRF survey, the average consumer plans to spend a record $108.24, and the biggest increase in spending came from costumes. To save, Allen recommends reaching out to your community on social media or within your neighborhood and swapping costumes.
There is no reason that you can't go cheaper or even no cost at all on costumes.
When it comes to candy, Allen says don't wait until the last minute to shop to avoid impulsively buying items right off the shelf. The NRF says total spending on decorations is expected to reach nearly $4 billion this year. So how do you trim that cost?
Resist the urge to get into a decor contest in your neighborhood. Use what you have. Don't go overboard.
And if you're hosting a Halloween party, go potluck.
Who can get the snacks? Who can get the ice? Who can get the drinks? Combine those receipts and split the cost evenly.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Halloween is right around the corner, and it's at the height of spooky season.
If you're looking for some frightening fun, Rick Damigella has a trio of scarily fun video games that you can play right now.
Think your job is tough? Imagine being the CEO of Death Incorporated. That's who you play as in Have a Nice Death. The 2D action game puts you in the robes of Death, culling run-amok employees and department heads of his company. The Reaping is playable now on PC and Nintendo Switch. H.P. Lovecraft's cosmic horror meets 1-bit graphics and chiptunes music in World of Horror. The retro RPG drops players into a seaside Japanese town where Lovecraft-inspired entities terrorize the population. Players can unleash World of Horror on their PC, PlayStation, and Nintendo consoles. The classic Atari game Haunted House gets a remodel. Instead of a pair of floating eyes menaced by an animated bat, players will go up against hordes of things that go bump in the night. Gamers can explore Haunted House now on current generation game consoles, PC, and on Atari's modern VCS system. Leveling up in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Certainly some scarily good games out there.
Right, I just love Halloween. It's just the best time of the year.
It is a lot of fun, and it's going to not feel like Halloween. It's going to feel like winter across the 4 states in the next few days. Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us where the cold front is and where we've still got a few scattered showers, even a couple of thunderstorms out there. Got a decent little shower moving into the Caney area, which is fantastic news for them because they definitely need that rain. Otherwise, again, just spotty showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder out there with this cold front as it continues to push off to the south and east. Ahead of the front, some drizzle, clouds, 69, Joplin and Pittsburgh, and may reach highs ahead of the front, low 70s before things turn around. Scattered showers and storms, breezy, winds will be out of the south and then shift out of the north, and then we go mostly cloudy, temperatures falling back into the upper 40s as we head into the evening hours. I mentioned it's going to start to feel like winter, and that doesn't feel like winter just yet, but wait till you see the extended forecast. We're going to have a look at that and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A fatal crash takes the life of a Neo-Tazi, Kansas woman. The crash occurred Wednesday just east of K99. A Chevy Impala and a Kia Soul were traveling eastbound on U-166 when the Impala crossed the center line and struck a westbound Dodge Charger. The Charger lost control and the Kia Soul struck the Charger. Pamela Long, the driver of the Kia Soul, was killed in the crash. Next of kin have been notified. And in Bourbon County, a 2-vehicle crash takes the life of a Milan, Missouri man. This happened Wednesday night on U-54. A westbound Toyota RAV4 failed to yield to a Jeep Wrangler traveling east while making a left turn and struck the Wrangler. The occupant of the Wrangler, Nathaniel Moorhead, was killed in the crash. And Dennis Lushborough from Iola, Kansas, disappeared more than 6 years ago. His disappearance sparked extensive searches across southern Allen County. Sheriff Brian Murphy confirms the skeletal remains belong to Lushborough. His family has been notified. The cause of the death is ruled undetermined, but the sheriff does not suspect any foul play in his death.
And we've got, take a look at this. You can see where the cold front is and where those colder temperatures are. And I wanted to show you all what this is looking like. Yates Center, you hit your high of 69 about 5:30. You're down to 54, 52 in Iola. Still warm off to the south and east, but that won't last long. And let's talk about that extended forecast too. Look at the temperatures tomorrow, mid-50s for highs. Then we're going to hit a high of 46 on Sunday at about 2 a.m. and temperatures will gradually fall through the day. Scattered showers and storms Saturday, scattered showers Sunday, and despite the cold temps, we're not looking at any wintry precipitation at this point, which is good news. We are cold Monday and Tuesday as well, so for Halloween, make sure you bundle up because by the time it's time to go trick-or-treating, we're talking temperatures in the 30s out there, and we'll try and warm up by the second half of next week back into the 50s and 60s. We've also got Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday nights all below freezing, so make sure your house, your pipes, your plants, yourself, your pets are all ready for that cold weather.
Woo! That's a lot, Chris.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's going to feel like winter here in about 2 more days, and it's not going to be fun at all.
Brace yourselves. It's coming.
Winter is coming. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We're going to be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great and spooky weekend, 4 States.